You're listening to the Retro Mo Podcast. I'm your host, Mo, and I love to play and review old video games and a few new games too. If you prefer to read instead of listen, check out my written reviews at retromo.substack.com. In this episode, I'll be sharing my experience with Kirby's Dream Land 3 for the SNES, released in 1997. I've scored this game 5 out of 10. A disappointing follow-up that fails to reach the lofty heights of Superstar. After the release of Kirby Superstar, Sakurai moved on from the Kirby series he created to focus on Super Smash Bros. Hal then looked to Shimomura to carry the franchise forward. Shimomura delivered an excellent Game Boy title in Dream Land 2. But could he match the success of Superstar? No. Unfortunately, he could not. The bar was just set way too high. Also, Dream Land 3 was such a major departure from what made Superstar great, it was very difficult for many gamers to make the adjustment. Let's start with the good before we get to the bad. Here's what I liked. Dream Land 3's art style is very unique and interesting. I can appreciate that they were aiming for something different and distinct. It's very bright and whimsical. The animal companions are back, Rick, Ku, and Kine, and they're joined by Nago the calico cat, Pitch the bird, and Choo Choo the octopus. Very cute. There's some genuinely interesting puzzles involving these different animal companions, and each companion interacts uniquely with each of the 8 copy abilities, resulting in over 50 unique attack varieties. Instead of creating helpers, like in Superstar, Dream Land 3 has Gooey, though he actually made his first appearance in Dream Land 2. Apparently, Gooey is made from the same stuff as Dark Matter, though he is completely benign. Gooey can grab enemies with his tongue in order to use copy abilities. He can function as an AI companion, or he can be controlled by a second player. I like Gooey. He's neat. Oddly enough, the soundtrack is easily the best feature of this game. Jun Ishikawa is back with an absolute banger of a score. Hyperzone 1 is one of my favorite Kirby tracks across the entire series. Jun has revived some familiar melodies from Dream Land 1 and Superstar, but there's a lot of great new tracks here too. Also, there are Metroid and Samus cameos in this game. That's cool. Check out my Substack to see screenshots. Here's what I didn't like. Even though there are over 50 unique attack varieties between the 8 copy abilities and the animal companion interactions, many of these were just not very useful or not fun to play. For example, there's an ability with Nago that shoots a projectile at a fixed 45-degree angle into the sky. Every time. You can't shoot straight, you can't shoot up, just 45 degrees. If you have an enemy directly in front of you, the projectile goes over its head. So just jump over it, I guess? Many of these ability combos were just not fun. Superstar had 25 copy abilities, many of which were very deeply developed with full movesets. Dash attack, aerial attack, up Y attack, down Y attack, etc. Nearly all of Superstar's copy abilities felt great and were fun to use. The same cannot be said for Dream Land 3's abilities. Dream Land 3 had some hitbox issues as well, which only exacerbates this frustration. However, the biggest disappointment of Dream Land 3 is the laughably sluggish move speed for Kirby and his companions. In Superstar, Kirby is king. He's fast, responsive, formidable. It's fun being Kirby in Superstar. In Dream Land 3, Kirby is molasses. Why did they slow the pacing down so much? Much of the level design was flat, repetitive, and just plain dull. And I found myself just flying over the enemies in most of the levels with Ku. Side note, the final boss was surprisingly dark for such a seemingly kid-oriented Kirby game. So keep that in mind if you introduce this one to your kiddos. The boss sequence was very fun though. Overall, I'm glad I played Dream Land 3, if only to get the experience and satisfy my curiosity as a Kirby fan. Unfortunately, I wasn't impressed. Some may be able to get some more enjoyment out of this one than me, but in my humble opinion, I can't recommend Dreamland 3. Thanks for listening to the Retro Mo podcast. As always, I do my best to keep all of my content spoiler-free and rated E for everyone. If you find this podcast enjoyable or helpful, tell a friend and consider giving a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. If you have questions or comments, you can send an email to retromopodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Godspeed.